So welcome to the History Lunch Break from the Greensboro History Museum. It's, as I just said, our first History Lunch Break of 2022, and we're talking about the new year, the Lunar New Year, that is. That's right, the Year of the Tiger begins next week on February 1st, but traditional East Asian celebrations can stretch for several days. Today, we're exploring flavors and festivities of New Year's from Taiwan with members of the Taiwanese American Association of North Carolina. If you are joining us on Zoom, feel free to use the chat to say hello and the Q/A, that's question and answers, to ask questions to any of our guests on today's show. We are monitoring the Facebook page as well, so hello to any of our Facebook watchers. If you have questions, we will also try to get those to our guests today. They will be answering questions at the end of the program, and I will monitor them to make sure that the questions come through. I am going to turn things over right now to Jessica Huang to get us started. Hello, Jessica.
Hey, happy Lunar New Year.
Yay.
My name is Jessica Huang. On behalf of Taiwanese American community, we would like to thank the Greensboro History Museum for inviting us here to share with you our traditions and customs of celebrating the Lunar New Year. If you are not familiar with Taiwan, Taiwan is a democratic country, an island in Southeast Asia, formerly called Formosa, and it has a population of 23 million. Our Taiwanese American Association of North Carolina, referred as TAANC, recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. We are very honored today to have 4 panelists here to discuss the most celebrated holiday in Taiwan. Our speakers are Davis Hung, graduated from NCSU, and he is an electronic engineer. Arthur Huang, he is working with Duke University as senior manager of training and consulting programs. Deborah Shea is the current president of TAANC, and she is a business owner. Dr. Yulang Li, he is a professor of atmospheric science in the Department of Physics, North Carolina A&T State University, Greensboro. Hey! Both Arthur and Davis are the current TAANC board members. Dr. Lin has served as a TA board member and president at the North America Taiwanese Professors Association from 1996 to 97. Without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Davis Hung. He is going to share his family traditional dishes with us.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, we hear you.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. This is my name. Hello, everybody. This is Davis Hong, and like Jessica said, I'm gonna introduce what we had in our house for food-wise for Lunar New Year, and then also some of the traditional dishes that was served during the Lunar New Year dinners. Go ahead, please, Jessica. So the first dish I'm gonna introduce is, this is pretty much a thinly sliced braised beef. In the ancient China, meat is not easy to come by, so people pretty much go all out during the New Year. That's when you have lots of meat, especially beef. So this is a very common. This is a very common dish that was served during New Year times. It's kind of like during Christmas, you will have like thinly sliced honey baked hams. This is pretty much an equivalent of a big chunk of meat, thinly sliced beef served during New Year times. Next one, please. This is dumpling, which we probably all know. This is a traditional New Year dish that, because of dumpling, has a shape of a gold nugget. An ancient, in ancient times, the gold nugget takes the shape of a dumpling. So by serving dumplings, it symbolizes you're gonna get very rich for the rest of the year. Next slide, please. So this is the gold nugget I was talking about. In ancient China, it was molded like this, which looks kind of like a dumpling. That's why we usually serve it on the New Year Eve. Next one, please. This is a very almost must-have dish for the Lunar New Year. This is pretty much a fish, a pan-fried fish. Fish in Chinese has the same pronunciation as leftover, and there's an old saying called pretty much saying you wants to have leftover every year. That means you have plenty. Symbolize that you have a plentiful year, very just prosperity and plentiful year. So funny thing about this dish is when you eat the fish with your family, you can't eat it everything. You have to leave parts of it. You have to have leftover of the fish, which symbolize you have leftover. You have plenty to eat, and to the point you have leftover for the year. Next one, please. This is my personal favorite. Again, meats are harder to come by in the ancient times, so people tend to go all out in New Year. And this is pretty much a super thick cut of bacon, pork belly, if you might want to say, and embraced in soy sauce based sauce. It's a very popular way of cooking it. Looks really good. Tastes very good. My personal favorite. Next one, please. This is another very well-known traditional Chinese. This is a kind of like a deluxe seafood casserole. It's got a bunch of seafood delicacies in there. It has clam, sea cucumber, scallop. In old times there were shark fins, but probably not anymore. And a bunch of meats, chicken broth, beef broth, bunch of things, anything you can think of that's delicacies. Funny thing I want to mention is this pot has a funny name called, in Chinese, translate to English, direct translate to English would be called a Buddha jump over the temple wall, which means when somebody's cooking this, a vegetarian Buddha would jump over the temple wall just to have a taste of this dish. That just shows how delicious this dish is. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Go back. Yeah. Just one thing I found out just the other day, I want to bring it up, is I don't know if you can see it, but this is in Costco, and Costco actually carried this. This is the Buddha's Delight I mentioned from a previous slide. They actually have this in stock in some state. I don't think we have this yet in the triangle, but if you happen to come by one, you can't see the price here, but the price tag is, I think it was 72. So it's definitely not cheap, but if you're interested, you can definitely give it a try. This is from local Costco. I mean, within the United States. Next one, please. This is not a very traditional must-have dish in China. I mean, in Taiwan, that we serve during Lunar New Year's. This is more like a dessert. This thing is called pretty much called New Year cake. It's made out of sticky rice with something sweet. It's different. It's different. Sometimes it's sugar. It's brown sugar. Sometimes it has red bean in there. It tastes just like a mochi, if you may. Sometimes people fry it. Sometimes people eat just out of the package. This one we eat it. We serve it because it just symbolizes a good luck for the rest of the year. This one is usually served along with the next slide. Next slide, please. This slide, this is pretty much a sugar, a sweet muffin, but since it's rice, and rice has the same pronunciation in Chinese, has the same pronunciation as make a lot of money, rich / prosperity. So by having this on the table, it means, or by eating this as a dessert, which also means you're gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna be very rich for the rest of the year. That's pretty much concludes my food adventure of the new year. Next slide, I'm gonna hand over to Arthur. Arthur, please.
Thank you, Davis, for talking about a lot of traditional and delicious dishes served at the dinner table on New Year's Eve. So in the next few slides, I will talk about the New Year's traditions, activities. And so the New Year's celebrations, or we also call it Spring Festival, traditionally lasts about 2 weeks from New Year's Eve to the Lantern Festival. And regional customs and traditions may vary a lot, but they share a similar thing. And there are just too many traditions, so I would only speak about the traditions and activities that I'm most used to, with some images and pictures to help illustrate. So things like cleaning the house, New Year shopping, putting up decorations, and also during, on New Year's Eve, that offering food to ancestors, having family reunion dinner, giving red envelopes, and staying up late, as well as some activities that you will see on New Year's Day and then the days to follow. Next. So about half a month before the New Year's Day, a thorough cleaning of the house is usually performed to welcome the new year at its best. So what happens is windows would be wiped out, surfaces dusted, and then old junk cleared away. So the idea is that by getting rid of the junk, the old junk and clutter, now you can make room for good luck in the coming year. And also by sweeping away the dust, that you are clearing away any bad luck they may have accumulated over the previous year. Next. And it's also the time of the year for most people to spend generously on shopping. So for example, people buy a lot of new clothes, accessories, household items, appliances, and many more, whether they need these items or not. And on the days leading up to the festival, so there are many New Year's street markets where people can shop. Next. And putting up New Year's decorations is another tradition. Most people decorate their house several days before the festival. And decorations usually are the red lanterns, red spring couplets, red paper cuttings, and some New Year's paintings. And the idea is to put up these decorations to keep the evil away, and then to pray for blessing, fortune, longevity, health. Next. And so now we are at the New Year's Eve, and what my family usually does is to offer food and to worship the ancestors to show our respect, because ancestral spirits are believed to protect their descendants and help them to become prosperous in the future. And worshiping usually takes place before the family reunion dinner on New Year's Eve, because this is to show that we are letting the ancestors eat first. Next. And now it's the dinner time, and the family reunion dinner on New Year's Eve is probably the biggest things among all the New Year's celebrations. So most people would return to their parents or grandparents' home for the reunion dinner. And so dishes with lucky meanings are usually included in the dinner, because David's already shared a lot about the food, so I won't repeat. Next. And after the big meal, red envelopes with money usually will be given to the younger members of the family by the senior members. This is to wish them good health, happiness, and good academic performances in the coming year. And money in red envelopes is believed to bring good luck, because red is considered a lucky color in Taiwan. So it's also called lucky money. Next. So again, so after the big meal, after the red envelopes giving, I think, so staying up all night is another tradition, and it's actually a custom called 守岁 in Chinese. So traditionally, this activity is to keep watch for the whole night, to watch for the mystical beast, Nian, from stealing food and livestock on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So in the past, people used to stay up all night, but now most stay up only until midnight or until the firecrackers die down. And it's also the time for playing Mahjong, which is, you can see in the pictures here. It's a popular game and popular New Year's tradition in Taiwan. So after the big meal, so many families would set up a Mahjong table, so they can do a little, matches and little gambling, and usually these bring a lot of laughters. Next. And then, right, now we are at the New Year's Day, and so another tradition is to set up the firecrackers, because firecrackers and New Year's Day are believed to be able to drive away the, again, the mystical beast. And today, mostly the firecrackers symbolize to drive away all the bad luck and evil spirits and entering the new year with a clean slate. So I guess you don't really expect a quiet night on New Year's Eve in Taiwan. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is people usually put up new clothes on New Year's Day and say 恭喜 or 恭喜发财 to each other, which is a greeting to wish each other good luck and happiness and then good fortune. And it's also customary for the younger generations to visit their elders to wish them health and longevity. Next. And the other thing next, yes, this one. So lots of the performances and fairs take place during the celebration period. So in the pictures, you can see there is a famous lion and dragon dance, and also a picture of temple. And Deborah will talk about the dragon and lion dance later. But I just wanted to mention that, so New Year's Day is also the time when people would go visit and pray at the temples. We call it temple affairs. Temple fairs. Next. And so from second day of the new year and the following days, people usually visit their friends and relatives. So traditionally, people spend their first day of the new year at home, and then the next few days, right, to see the other family members and relatives and friends. And they usually bring the gifts to one another and give red envelopes to the kids. And it's also worth noting that traditionally the second day of the new year is for the married women to visit their parents' home with their husband and kids. And again, so they also bring the gifts and red envelopes to the family members and relatives. And after day 7, most people go back to work, unfortunately. Next slide. So the Lantern Festival is the 15th day of the new year, which is also the end of the spring festival celebration. So some people, they craft the lanterns and then send the glowing lanterns into the sky. While others, they hang the lanterns on the trees, on the streets or parks. And also the picture on the left bottom, you can see the sweet dumplings. So eating sweet dumplings, tangyuan in Chinese, is also the tradition to mark the Lantern Festival. So these are the traditions that I want to share with all of you. So hopefully you learned something, and then from here, I will give the stage to Deborah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Deborah Lu. Let me share how my family celebrated the Lunar New Year in Taiwan. Lunar New Year is a very exciting holiday in Taiwan. We shop for new clothes and shoes for the occasion a month in advance. Then it is important to go to the hair salon to style your hair for ladies. It is similar to attend a wedding event here. Then we will visit relatives to congratulate the new year. They will prepare all kinds of candies for you to pick up. Then I will get a red envelope from my grandparents, my uncles. They will put money there. And usually I try to visit all the relatives, get all the red envelope. It would be our year's worth of pocket money. Next, please. My mom owned a small store. In the morning when we wake up, we will worship our ancestors. And my mom owned a small store, sell bags. We will play the fireworks in the morning when the store opened. It will attract people come to see the firework. And then there are street dragon dance teams might stop at your store and dance. Shop owner tips the performance and is supposed to bring good luck to your shop for a year. Next, we worship our ancestors. Next. Everyone gets out on the street to do shopping. It's a festival. You can get food easily from food truck or walk into store, buy clothes, jewelry, everything. Taiwan is small and does not have much land. Most of the malls are sky high, like at least 10 to 15 stories. Capital of Taiwan, Taipei City has 101 stories of department store. At the top of this department store, there are game rooms similar to arcade. Here, the department stores were so crowded. When my daughters were 5 years old, we visited Taiwan for the Lunar New Year, and she get lost from my sight in the department store. So you can imagine how crowded it was. Next, please. During the dinner, all our family members come home to eat hot pot. Food is always an important part of celebration. In my home in North Carolina, I still prepare the hot pot for the dinner and give red envelope to the younger kids, my grandson or my daughters. Next, please. I am the current president of Taiwanese Association of America in North Carolina chapter till February 1st, 2022. That's only a few days away from now. At the Lunar New Year, we will elect a new president for our TAANC. Here is some photos show we celebrate the Lunar New Year at Green Hope High School in Cary, North Carolina. That was from 2019, before the COVID-19, when we are still able to gathering. Next. We will do potluck to bring your best dishes or order food from restaurant. After the dinner, then we have some performance. Next. Oh, next year we gathering a dinner. Next. Then we have some performance like a choir. Next, dance. Next. That's a kind of traditional dance too. They call 三太子. That's a big drum, and those there are 3 princess dance. Goddess princess. Next. Okay. Then we will have a YouTube, have that kind of, they call the I don't know how to 布袋戏. That means a kind of puppet show. Usually we watch for the puppet show during the Lunar New Year. And is this the end? Next. Oh, that's for the lottery. We will have lottery during the Lunar New Year, celebrate for the Lunar New Year. And we also give red envelope to elder and younger members. We will have an online celebration this year on February 6th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Welcome you to join. Thank you for joining with us. Hand to Dr. Lin to introduce Taiwan. Yes. Dr. Lin, you're here?
You're muted, Dr. Lin.
Yes. We don't hear you. I'm sorry, you need to speakerphone.
Unmute. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for a little bit delay. In this celebration, I'd like to introduce briefly Taiwan's history. Okay. So. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. Okay, so I will have 2 parts. Second part is very short because I think people may have that kind of question, so I will just probably answer it. Okay. So far, I haven't seen people kind of raise that question. So first part is that will be take just 1 or 2 minutes. The first part is Taiwan's history. Okay, Taiwan's history is kind of, in a simple way, it's very similar to that of America's. Okay, so And roughly speaking, probably can be divided into about 9 to 10 periods. Okay, so I'm going through one by one, and green, please give me a kind of hint if waving, okay, if say I'm running a little bit over time. Okay, so first, okay, first in the prehistorical period, about 50,000 BC and 1624 AD, the Changbin culture was established in eastern Taiwan. And then about 6,000 years ago, the Taiwanese, native Taiwanese, by some reason, they kind of spread out into the central and the southern Pacific Ocean. Okay, I don't know. I thought it might be because maybe at that time there's a global warming, and Taiwan's land mountain is so high, so probably other places are all thrown into the ocean, and so then native Taiwanese kind of spread out, and this is not come out of my own imagination. There's some research on this, and there's a book published by an American historian about the kind of Pacific Islanders, including Hawaiians, Polynesians. Their languages are all from Taiwan. It's amazing, right? I personally, I kind of thought about it, okay, but try to find some reason for it, okay. Anyway, so that's based on what they said. And then, okay, and then in 1540 to 1732, there was a kingdom established by native Taiwanese, okay. Native Taiwanese to Taiwanese, they are just like Native Americans to American, okay, Americans, okay. So we have native Taiwanese, and they established the kingdom, and so they lasted for almost 200 years, okay. And in 1544, the Portuguese sailors, they found Taiwan. They didn't land it, okay. They just passing through Taiwan Strait, and then they see, because Taiwan's mountain is so high, up to 4,000 meters, okay, about 4 kilometers, okay. And it's very pretty. So they said Ilha Formosa, that means beautiful island. And so Taiwan got the Formosa, the name, okay, from Portuguese sailors. And then after that, it is kind of colonial period, okay, all worldwide. And then Taiwan, northern Taiwan was kind of occupied by Spanish, and then it established a Spanish Formosa, okay, with their capital kind of, okay, their capital kind of, okay, at the Dominico, and then they landed in Cape Santiago, okay, and Taiwan has a name for that, directly translated from Santiago. And then Dutch occupied southern Taiwan, okay, and established Dutch Formosa, okay. So now you can see, right, okay, Taiwan was native Taiwanese Taiwan, and then being colonized by those powers, Western powers. It's not, okay, kind of established or whatever, governed by Chinese, okay, nothing to do, nothing with that, okay. So you can see that history from here. And then in 1662, there's a general, he was loyal to the Ming Dynasty, that is before the Manchurian Dynasty or Qing Dynasty, okay. So he didn't want to be loyal, to be governed by the Qing Dynasty. So then he kind of defeated, okay, he kind of came to Taiwan, he defeated, okay, kind of expelled out the Dutch Formosa, okay. So then established his own kingdom, that's called Kingdom of Tonglin, and it's separate from China, okay, because he governed his island, his kingdom, okay, in Taiwan. And then in Qing Dynasty, Qing Dynasty kind of defeated the kingdom of Tonglin, okay, of about 1683. So then that dynasty kind of the kingdom kind of disappeared. Okay, and then Qing dynasty came in. And during that period, even Qing dynasty kind of defeated and then kind of controlled Taiwan, but actually they don't really rule Taiwan. Okay, so that period will be kind of chaotic. And indeed, 16th century, the Horo and the Hakka, okay, they are peoples. Okay, Horo are kind of living in Fujian. Okay, they call Fujian today, and then Hakka, they were living in Canton. They speak different languages, okay, and they belong to the Han languages, okay, but Horo is different from Hakka, okay. They are also different from Mandarin, okay, and started to they all, of course, they all based on the Han pronunciations, Han characters, and they started to migrate from Fujian and Canton. Canton today they call it Guangdong, okay, to Taiwan, okay, in big way, coming to there to seek for better lives, because in this period, then, okay, like in Fujian, southern Fujian, and like in Canton, they are very mountainous, okay, so sometimes it's kind of difficult to survive, and so they are looking for new lives, and then when they look for new lives, they also bring their ancestors, okay, kind of with them. Okay, and that means they are migrate out. They are not going to go back to China. And then during the period of 1783, 1887, actually there's nobody govern Taiwan. It's just a land of rebellions and the art of immigrants, okay, from China, okay, and they belong to different counties in southern Fujian, and then they fight back, okay, among them, between themselves, okay, and then even have some kind of incident like native Taiwanese, okay, they have some kind of fighting with Japan, and then Qing dynasty say, oh no, that is not our business, okay, that Taiwan is not our business. We don't have the jurisdiction, okay, on Taiwan. So, and then Manchu Empire, the Qing dynasty, okay, they eventually declared Taiwan to be a province, okay. That's the first time Taiwan is governed by Qing dynasty, 1887, okay. A couple hundred years after, centuries after the Dutch Formosa and Spanish Formosa. And so in 1895, okay, there's a war between China and Japan, and China was defeated. So then they gave up Taiwan to Japan forever. Okay. And then some leaders in Taiwan at that time, they don't feel very good about this because they just simply, Qing dynasty just simply give Taiwan to Japan without asking them. So they declare independence and they call it the Taiwan Republic. It's a very short-lived, okay, republic, but however, it is the first republic in East Asia. And then Japanese start to occupy Taiwan in 1895, okay, and then they governed for 50 years, okay, from 1985 to 1945, okay. And Japanese has been kind of rule Taiwan in a very brutal way, okay. On the good side is they built extensive infrastructure and the education system, okay. And after World War II, Japan gave up the sovereignty of Taiwan. And then in 1945, Chiang Kai-shek was defeated, okay, by the communists, okay. So he retreated to Taiwan, and then he ruled Taiwan, he governed Taiwan, and then going through some kind of series, okay, kind of democratic movement. Taiwan eventually become today's democratic, okay. But however, Taiwan, even though Taiwanese want to change ROC, Republic of China, that nation name, but China doesn't allow it. Okay, if Taiwan changes that, okay, there's no doubt everybody probably know they were going to invade Taiwan immediately. Okay, even though I don't think they have right to do that. And those are Taiwanese kind of president. Okay, ROC president, and Li Denghui and Chen Shui-bian, Ma Ying-jeou, and now currently the president is Tsai Ing-wen. Okay, so I will go to my second part, lunar calendar. I don't know, maybe some of you have already this question, okay, kind of why does the New Year Day in the lunar calendar drift, okay, each year, okay, a different day, sometimes even different months, okay, it kind of in between January and February, okay, in our today's calendar. Okay, so to answer that, briefly speaking, in fact, the lunar calendar in the East Asia that was kind of created by some Chinese emperors, okay, in earlier time, and then they also going through some modification too, and actually it's a lunar solar calendar. It's not pure lunar calendar like the Arabic calendar, okay, because their New Year started in July, and then they keep, okay, in July, okay, so they are now rotating, and this. But most of the, believe me, most of the lunar calendar actually is a kind of hybrid lunar and the solar calendars. Okay, so in that one used in East Asia, that's including China, Korea, okay, Vietnam, and Taiwan, okay, and in order, Japan, okay, before their kind of their revolution, okay, the Meiji era. Before that, they also adopt this lunar calendar. Okay, so the date is counted based on the moon rotating around the Earth, and as you know, that is roughly speaking about 29.5 days, and so. Okay, the months, okay, are rotating between kind of between 29, starting with January, 29 days, and then 30, then 29, okay, so in average, 29.5 days, and that gives us 354 days a year, okay. However, as you know, in today's solar calendar, like the Gregorian calendar we are using today, it has 365.25, precisely speaking, it's 365.2125 or 22475, okay? And then there's a difference, you can see there's about 11 days difference. So that means the lunar calendar, okay, the Chinese calendar is running too fast. So then every 3 years, right, 33 days, every 3 years, then you do a kind of dip month. You dip months, 1 month will be repeated, okay, and then next 3 years, then will be other months repeated. So one 3 year, okay, every 3 years you repeat 29 days, and other 3 years you repeat 30 days. So then try to, okay, kind of slow down. However, when you do this, okay, you do this dip month, then, okay, you're also running a bit too, okay, too slow, okay, so you have to, so every 30 years, you don't have the dip month, okay. So hopefully that will answer some questions you might have in your mind. Okay, so that finishes my talk. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Lin. That is a wonderful snapshot, to learn Taiwan history in 7 minutes. I learned so much today. So we want to thank you for your interest in our Taiwanese culture. And we here wish everyone have a healthy, happy, and prosperous Year of Tiger. Thank you so much. And thank you for the panelists. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you all with us today. And thank you all for joining us on today's show. Actually, a lot of the questions that were in the chat actually got answered by our panelists directly, so that worked out extremely well. I think the only question at the end that we had was about the symbolism of the red, and I believe that has to do with a legend, I think.
Dr. Ling, would you like to take this one? I know it's symbolic, happy and richness, but maybe Dr. Ling has an answer.
Sorry, I don't know the answer because the color of the emperors in China was red, was yellow, not the red. Okay, so like historically, like Korea and northern Vietnam, they were a kind of protectorate states. So their emperors or their kings, they cannot say emperor, they only kings. Their kings cannot use okay, kind of. I heard from one of my Korean student. She told me they are not allowed to use red, okay, or maybe yellow. I forgot. Sorry, I cannot answer this. I probably can go back and dig out the answer.
All right, well, thank you very much, Dr. Lin, and thank you to all of the panelists today, and thank you to the audience for joining us for this show. Additional History Lunch Break episodes are in the works, so please stay tuned. You can keep up with everything that happens at the Greensboro History Museum by visiting our website, greensborohistory.org. That is Greensboro History, all one together, .org. There you can connect with our social media accounts or sign up for our e-news. Once again, thank you so much to the Taiwanese American Association in North Carolina. You all are wonderful, and a happy new year for you guys in the upcoming week.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You did wonderfully.
Thank you.